Hey guys, Sundown here. This is going to be my chapter review to Nanatsu no Taizai, or the Seven Deadly Sins 295, The Assembled. Now, I like this chapter, so we'll split it up by major occurrences and little scenes that I kind of have split apart and that we saw in the chapter. I'm going to just go straight through it. So, the first thing, which was kind of the most minor thing, kind of. I mean, like, there wasn't really anything minor. It was just, I think it's the smallest piece to talk about. It's the first part where we have King's continued assault on the demon king, on the original demon, and his kind of logical progression through why he should go through different forms of Chastiafol and then Zeldris and all that good stuff. So King, from a distance, realizes that it'll consume a lot of energy, a lot of his magical power, to use Chastiafol's further forms, any of his other forms, from this distance. So because it's like quite a while away, he threw Chastiafol a long way to get to the original demon and hurt him last chapter. So for him to use any of the other forms like Bumblebee, Guardian, which actually make an appearance this chapter, it would take a lot of his magical energy. So he's against doing this. However, using this logic and then proceeding to not listen to himself, King uses Chastiafol's fourth form, Sunflower, attempting to vaporize the original demon. And I was like, okay, cool. I mean, like, I understand. He's at this point in time, I think he's basically just making sure that Merlin and Escanor are as safe as they can possibly be. So he's just like, you know what? I've got no choice. I gotta put in Sunflower. I gotta put in a different form. But I just thought it was a bit strange how he says, you know, this is the reason why I shouldn't do it. But nah, let's do it. And I was like, all right, cool. Why say that first part anyway? You know, it's redundant information if it's like, oh, this is gonna waste a lot of my energy. But here we go, and you're just like, I'm not sure. It's not entirely redundant, but I just didn't like that part. So Merlin and Escanor kind of escape as soon as Sunflower pops up. They're like, we're not staying here. And I just want to mention that before Chastiafol's form changed, the original demon actually cut through the blade of of Chastiafol's first form, which is the Spirit Spear. And I was like, hey, he actually cut the blade into like three pieces. He cut once and then cut twice, and the last piece was still attached to the shaft. And I was like, wait a sec, is that like, I don't think that's gonna add anything to the story, and I don't think it's gonna be anything that's pivotal to the story in the future. But I was just like, he did cut through the Spirit Spear. This guy is like, he's strong, he's tough stuff, but you have to also remember that this is King's attack from like miles away, and he's basically just remote controlling the original demon away at the moment. So Zeldris then pops up and nullifies Sunflower's beam. So like Sunflower just emits this disgusting beam. Everything goes negative, and Zeldris pops up with his ability, which is called God, and nullifies King's attacks. You know, he's able to nullify magical attacks. And then he says he'll deal with King and company, while he orders the original demon to deal with Merlin and Escanor. So with all that, I thought this part of the chapter was good. I thought it was about time that Zeldris decided to join the fight again. But then again, you know, he didn't have anyone to really fight against, considering the original demon, or Cusack and Chandler, had already told him to sit back down and let him handle all that stuff. But the other thing I want to mention is, will this willy-nilly usage of magical power affect King? I somehow I doubt it. I think King's in that kind of OP section right now. But, you know, him making mention of this being a magical draining effort that he's putting in, and then it not really having any visible effect on him, was a bit weird. So we then go to Gilthunder and Hendrickson, and I thought this part of the chapter in itself was fantastic. Well done, Horikoshi. Is it Horikoshi? No, it's not. Horikoshi it's Nakaba. Well done, Nakaba. So this part of the chapter was fantastic. We have Gilthunder and Hendrickson essentially talking about how cray-cray this fight has become, with Hendrickson telling Gilthunder to get his weak ass out of here. That's going to piss people off. I got you, Grim. It's going to piss you right off. But yeah, he's like, get your weak ass out of here. And obviously Gilthunder refuses to leave without Margaret, who's in tears because her possessor, who is Reduciel, has just learned of his brother Mael's survival. He's like, oh shit. He's like in complete shock. His like bladder's giving way and shit. His legs have completely lost motor control. It's almost like he's gone into spinal shock or something like that. This guy's had like been in a traumatic spinal incident of some sort. And in this moment of weakness, Reduciel, in the body of Margaret, pleads with Hendrickson to take him to Mael. He's like, I want to see Mael. I need to see my brother, and I need you to take me to him, because I'm in this state of shock. I can't move. My bladder is all flimsy and shit like that. I've gone flaccid. he's like, you need to take me to where Mael is. And this is the part of the chapter I loved. This is where Hendrickson takes his opportunity and returns to the character that he should have been, and he should always have been. And in this instance, I feel like I've written down Horikoshi, but in this instance, I feel like Nakaba has really. Actually, let me just make sure that the author is Nakaba, because Nakaba, yeah, it is Nakaba. So in this instance, Nakaba knew exactly what he was doing, and I was like, you got me this time, that's fair enough, because my whole beef with Hendrickson has been that he should have been aware, druid or not, that the goddesses and the demons, both clans, they have their good moments, but they have a lot of their bad moments as well, so they're as evil or as good as each other. And his complete trust in Reduciel was something that I felt went against his character, especially as his best friend had once been possessed by a member of the other clan by a demon. So it should be ingrained in Hendrickson that, these guys that enjoy possessing humans, they're not all that, and they're not very morally correct. So the fact that he'd been kissing Reduciel's ass, that was something that really, really tore me into kind of two minds about Hendrickson. I was like, I like you, but you're being a dick because you don't remember everything that just happened in your immediate past and all of the shit that went down because your best friend got possessed. And I know it's by a demon, but it's the same kind of thing. And they were both forced to do things that they didn't want to do, i.e. killing the great Holy Knight. But Nakaba has made it so that Hendrickson has always been aware of Reduciel, kind of his role with Reduciel and how he's going to interact with Reduciel, and was just waiting for the opportune moment. So Hendrickson kind of slaps Reduciel with like a purge, and we've always been told that purge kind of can rid a demon's presence within a body, but apparently it can just get rid of any impurities, an impurity within a human's body or a human soul being anything that's kind of foreign to that body, I assume. So he slaps the purge right across Margaret's face, dispelling the ancient man from the confines of this young lady, pedo. And sorry. So with that, Gilthand of the Weak runs away with Margaret, while Hendrickson offers up his life and soul to Reduciel. Now, fair play here. Reduciel will probably have killed Hendrickson, and Hendrickson has been looking for kind of some form of redemption for a long while now. So even though I feel like this isn't the best way to kind of gain redemption, offering your body to a madman, not the way I would go about it. There's numerous other ways you could try and help out, but offering your body to Reduciel, the crazy of the crazies, not the way I do it. So then the last kind of chunk I want to talk about is Zeldris and the remaining commandments. So we go to this being the last scene where King has seemingly forgotten the fact that using Chastity other forms will drain him of magic. I mean, like, first he uses Sunflower, but then he hits Zeldris with like Guardian and Bumblebee, I think it's called. And I'm just like, dude, you literally just said that, using the other forms will drain me significantly, even in the state I am now. So you proceed to use 3 forms like back to back. I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. Like, something's gotta happen there, but I feel like it won't. And it comes back to that complaint I had a chapter ago where I said King was really he'd become too OP, and I understand that it's been foretold and it's been foreshadowed for ages that King is going to be the greatest fairy king that's ever existed once his wings grow out. But the greatest fairy king prior to him, Gloxinia, feared Zeldris, or was intelligent enough to know that Zeldris was one to be feared. Maybe he didn't fear him, but he was aware of the fact that Zeldris was powerful enough to maybe incite some element of fear in him to a degree. So we have King out here remotely punching Zeldris in the face and shit from like miles away. And I'm not saying that King should fear Zeldris or that he should be weaker than him, but it shouldn't be so easy, because then it makes Zeldris look like fodder and it doesn't provide much suspense. If the demon's just going to get steamrolled by King because like he's there, he can damage the original demon, he can bitch slap Zeldris back into existence, like back into his mom's womb, whoever she is. It's like, what's the point in Zeldris and what's the point in the original demon? They're literally just getting fodderized, and they're just essentially stops waiting for Meliodas to return. And I'm like, that's not all they should be. Zeldris is one of the princes of the demon realm. He should be up there kicking some ass. We have the original demon who like fought against the Demon King and shit like that. These guys should be people that even King in his state right now should be fearing, but he's become so OP just because his wings grew out that he's bodying everyone. I mean, like, the fact that he took out Mile with his 4 commandments, I still have an issue with that. But carrying on, we have Zelrus, who then smiles as he speaks to himself, whilst also addressing the Sins who aren't there, so they can't hear him. It's one of those things. But he says something else has been approaching their location in Camelot, as well as the Sins. And with that, we see 4 commandments that were possessed by Mile, making a beeline straight from Meliodas' cocoon. And Mile explains the situation. It would seem that Zelrus had anticipated that his brother, Estarossa, would steal and absorb the commandments for himself, the ones that he was sent after. However, he was also very confident that Estarossa would not be able to kind of endure the pressure of the commandments, would self-destruct, and that the commandments would draw themselves towards Meliodas like electrons flying towards a more positive charge. So essentially they're trying to get back to their original state, which is the half of the power of the Demon King. So they're trying to find, I assume it's wherever the more of the power is, that's where they're attracted towards. So they're attracted towards Meliodas right now. Like I said, electrons flying towards a more positive charge. So I kind of have an issue with this whole Zelrus was always anticipating this thing, because first, Zelrus made a huge gamble, assuming a son of the Demon King, in his eyes, wouldn't be able to endure the commandments. But also, this means that Zelrus sent his brother off to kill himself and was completely fine with it. I know they didn't really have much like brotherly love between them, but Zelrus jumped into a cruel son for the guy. You know, this just doesn't sound right to me. With no way to stop these commandments from reaching Meliodas, Merlin's commandment which is Meresula's commandment, reacts to the other four flying overhead, and they really made a beeline. Like they were shown to be outside Camelot, and then suddenly they appeared in Camelot. They paced it straight towards Meliodas. So Merlin's last remaining commandment, which is Meresula's commandment, reacts to the other 4 flying overhead, breaks free of her little test tube, and they group together right outside Meliodas' cocoon. So what's going to happen next? Like this is where we assume Meliodas will either. So I think there will be a few scenarios here. First, it's going to be Meliodas will absorb all of the commandments, become Demon King, and shit's going to go down. And then everyone's going to be kind of piled against him. It's going to be Mile versus Meliodas. It's going to be Merlin, Escanor, all the Sins. It's going to be Reduciel, possibly Hendrickson, with Reduciel in his body. Everyone's going to be piled up against Meliodas. That's kind of situation number 1. Or situation 2 is going to be the emotional Meliodas comes back and absorbs the 5 commandments which are outside of Meliodas' cocoon. So we'll have a Meliodas versus Meliodas, 5 commandments versus 5 commandments, and shit's going to go down that way. We could have Ban stealing the commandments, and God knows where that could go. It'd be Meliodas trying to kill Ban not being immortal but having powered up big time in Purgatory. And I think those are the 3 situations I can think of right now. So it's essentially, can Nakaba maintain the story without imploding? And usually with his situation is the way he implodes is like power levels just screw up all over the place. Like, oh, suddenly the original demon's getting his ass kicked by King. Oh, Diane's kicking the original demon's ass. You just say, wait, what? Like, what's going on? So like, so long as he can keep power levels consistent, we're good. So this was a good chapter by Nakaba. I really enjoyed it, and it might be the first Taizai chapter of 2019. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys thought of this review. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Let me know what you guys thought of the chapter as well, and I'll see you guys in a bit.